Hello, so I'm actually in the middle of doing a video series on my Facebook page. I started off talking about the 800 calorie diet, but actually it's going on my YouTube as well, by the way. But I'm going to be digging more into the whole bulking, cutting lingo and why I don't like the word bulking, and why I'm so against the way that it's perpetuated in popular media. So one of the main reasons why I really hate the word bulking is because a lot of the time, a lot of females especially don't understand the whole process of everything, and even if they do, if they get coined with the word bulking, all of a sudden they're attaching bulking to getting fat and getting big, when already women, us ladies, are afraid of lifting heavy weights. So that's one reason why I really hate the word bulking. So this all stemmed from a photo I put on my Instagram, and someone commented saying, "You're my bulking goals." And I was like, wait, what the fuck? Because one, I'm not bulking. Two, So what is meant by bulking is eating in a surplus in the attempt to gain weight. So the reason I don't use the word bulking, well, I sometimes play around with it a little when it comes to my guy clients, but with my females especially, I use the word building or improvement season or muscle growth, or if anything I'd say gaining, but I don't. I say building and improvement season, because going through phases of bulk and cut the way that typical media puts out, to me that's a form of disordered eating, and it's a form of yo-yo dieting, because it's all of a sudden you're expected to just eat in a surplus, gain a shitload of weight, realize that you don't like the way you look anymore, and then go into a deficit to try and lose the weight. So the way that I approach things myself within my coaching is I like periodized nutrition. So if someone comes to me with the goals of wanting to lose weight, we will go into a calorie deficit to lean down, and as soon as they plateau, I will keep cutting the calories to a certain point. But then as soon as I recognize that their biofeedback to me is screaming at me to give them a diet break, they will get a diet break, by which we will increase the calories. And no, they are not bulking, they are pretty much maintaining. If I feel a need for them to extend that period because they're performing so well in it and their body's actually responding better, looking better in their photos and body composition, because usually when you're not dieting, you're able to perform so much better, you're able to have so much more energy, which is why in the initial phases of a reverse diet, you actually could be losing weight. And it's not you losing weight in a friggin' surplus, it's because you're now in a calorie deficit because you're doing more activity and your NEAT, non-exercise activity, has increased. So that's the way I usually tackle those that come to me just with a pure weight loss goal. But if it's body composition goals, it's more structured in terms of, yeah, I'll do the same thing if they need to lose weight first, but then after that, and once they get to a pretty good point, I take them up to maintenance, and I usually keep them there. And if anything, I'll be flipping around their macros, flipping around their training, responding as they go, and I don't change things unless they need to be changed. And if we want to elicit a certain response, that is when I go into the actual periodized undulating nutrition, in which they'll have a few high days with a few low days in terms of calories, and determined by their feedback to me and their performance in the gym and their actual goals, that's when I will decide whether their macro split gets manipulated within this. But usually I just bring it down within the same ratio, so I won't be like, okay, so on your off days we're dropping the carbs and up in the fats. No, I will go by their preferences, their goals, and their feedback to me to determine that. Usually it's just in the same ratio, and I keep their protein the same. So to me, that's the way that it should be approached. And if you are a competitor with me and you're comp prepping and you just competed and now we're building afterwards, see, I said building, what I will do is I will bring you up to what I perceive to be your maintenance, and I will see how you respond to that, and then I will slowly build up your food. I will reverse diet you from your maintenance phase. And to me, that is like a recovery diet, which is the way that 3DMJ, if you know them, and other big names in the fitness industry do it now. They don't just bring you out step by step from the deficit that you comp prepped on. No, they bring you up to maintenance and then they reverse you from there. But usually I don't touch the maintenance level for a few weeks to see how you respond to that until you're actually recovered and getting all your your performance measures in, so that I can actually feed your training, feed your performance, and match your nutrition to your training. And if I find that you're not feeling satisfied, or you're craving stuff, which usually my girls don't, they're pretty damn fine, then I will give you a little bit more of a boost, or I will periodize you from there onwards, saying, okay, then we're going to have some higher days with some lower days. But a lot of the time, that's just mental masturbation, and it overwhelms you, which is why I don't use periodized nutrition with a majority of my clients. I only use it with those that either are my macro trackers, the ones that track macros and don't use meal plans, or those that are very, very on top of their meal plans, to the point where they do not mind switching up their food in 2 different phases. But I usually keep the food basically the same. I just swap it up just a little so it doesn't overwhelm me with prep, cooking, because we live busy lives. So I believe in lean bulking, and you'll see in my videos I go on about the fact that there's no such thing as lean muscle or fat muscle or bulk muscle, whatever the hell you want to call it. Muscle is muscle. I will go into explaining that in one of the videos that I already filmed and need to put up. But basically, I believe in slowly increasing your food to match your training, to match your results, and slowly adding on the kilos, adding on the pounds, whatever you want to call it, and just changing your focus from body composition to performance. So you're going from body composition goals within comp prep to get onto stage to now performance goals, increasing your strength, increasing your performance, increasing your training volume, and increasing your life quality. It's all about life quality. So I match your nutrition to you enjoying life, you performing at your best, and you loving and enjoying your food within its limitations. I don't believe in bulking in the way that the media puts it out, because the thing is, when you're in a deficit, unless you're a complete noob or you've come back from a layoff from the gym, you cannot build muscle and lose weight at the same time, because they both require different things. And if you do, you're just spinning your wheels. So you can either be in a deficit or a surplus or maintenance. This is the beauty of maintenance phases, because in a deficit, everything plummets and you cannot build muscle in a deficit. And you know what? Losing fat when you're actually focusing on losing fat is so much easier than building muscle. So what I do is, when my clients are trying to put on muscle, is I put them into a maintenance and I slowly increase their food from there to build the muscle slowly, which is what I call lean gains. Because if you put on too much weight in excess fat, then when you're cutting for comp, you're not, in that deficit phase, in that cutting phase, you will not be putting on any muscle whatsoever. So you are holding the process of any growth. And if you are one of those stubborn people that want to compete every single year, then that's holding you back greatly from being the best self that you can be. But if you stay pretty well conditioned all year round, it gives you the best for prep, because you don't have to prep for as long for starters, and you can continue doing lean gains until about 6 weeks out, and then cut for comp. Depending, you can probably, if you stay pretty conditioned enough, you will easily be able to do a comp prep within 5 to 8 weeks, maybe 10 weeks. So that's just some food for thought. And if you guys have any questions suggestions, or topics that you want me to cover in the video series, let me know. I'm going to release my other 2 videos before I even think of doing that many more. There is one that I really want to do and talk about the magic of maintenance. But otherwise, if there's anything else that you want me to cover in those topics, let me know. Because a lot of you guys aren't really competitors as such. You're just wanting to live a healthier life, look good naked, so probably won't really apply so much to you guys, but it gives you an insight into the way that I periodize nutrition. So